Hello? Is this recording? Alright. Alright, so I know I don't usually do this, but this is for a school project. We're going over the positive and negative effects of technology, I guess. So we just watched The Social Dilemma. So fun quote from that is, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. Ominous, I guess. And then the two markets that use the term user for their product, I guess, is drugs and social media. So that's cool. Just going over some positive effects and negative effects, I guess. So positive effects is, I would say, definitely mass and fast communication. You can see in this chart that internet users across the world, once it came out, I mean, right by 2015, it's 3.5 billion users. So that's pretty insane. That's like, what, a third of the world now, and it's probably doubled by now. And that's incredible because they're all from all over the world, all over the place. And mass communication is a good thing, I think. It's long distance and can raise awareness about anything, really. There's emergencies. You can dial 911 really, really quickly now. It's just 3 digits in your phone. Pretty basic stuff. Back then you had to do your telephone line. If your telephone line was screwed, well, you were screwed, I guess. Anyways, moving on to a negative effect. Oh man, social media usage. It's horrible. Taking up people's times. And man, the amount of depression also going along with it, and people feeling hopeless and different things of that sort is horrible. So you see all the social media things, and really, I mean, to be honest, like, let's be honest, is this really productive stuff that people are doing? Okay, yeah, like, let's look at TikTok. 21%. What is that? Yeah. With social media usage, and 81% with that on YouTube. Are people really getting educated by this, or just watching stuff to watch stuff, or doom scrolling on any of these? It's really unfortunate with, especially with the mental aspect. There's unrealistic modeling. There's cyberbullying, which is, I mean, it's already been a problem. I mean, I would argue it was worse in like the 90s and 80s when you'd actually get wedgied and, swirlied. But on the internet, you know, I mean, I guess it still sucks. You can get threatened pretty easily, and you can get framed really extremely easily, and defamation of character. Oh man, lots of that in the past years. So that all sucks. Isolation. Oh man, that's really bad too. Especially with social media. Different things of that sort. Why go outside and communicate with people in public when it's easier to just type on a keyboard and send pictures of yourself, like Snapchat, for example, and put on a facade of who people think you really are, but they never actually see who you really, really are behind closed doors. In person, when I'm talking like into this camera, for example, if I was face to face with someone, I think one's a lot easier than the other. One's a lot more passive than initiative. Facebook data collection also sucks. I'll go back to that in a second. But yeah, I mean, right here, how much Facebook data does it have? This was just one person, I'm pretty sure. I just pulled this stuff off the internet, honestly. But, 2,500 plus contacts and phone numbers. I don't even have, 50. No, I'm kidding. I'm pretty sure I have more than 50. But, messenger conversations, that could be really sensitive stuff. And then Facebook just has, hands all over it, Mark Zuckerberg, Robot Man has his, hands all over that information. Who knows what he's doing with that, People get uncomfortable with that, and it sucks. What Facebook knows, okay. Yeah, browsing history, oof. Man, some people are screwed there. Anyways, could never be me. Anyways, type of phone, I mean, I don't really know who would care about that. Where you shop, I mean, yeah, it can track your progress with that, and then probably spit you out ads to make you buy stuff, which I don't really see as unethical. I think stores do that anyways. So if everybody's, bell-bottom jeans, for example, came back in style, which I think they are, I don't know if that's just me or not. But if they just came back in style, and then stores caught on to that, and they're like, well, we're going to make better bell-bottom jeans, and we're going to start advertising them. I think that's the same thing that Facebook's doing. I don't really care about that. Public data, yeah, that sucks. The stuff that they're selling to third-party companies, and then really when they abuse it, when people can steal your stuff and all that. Going back to addiction and mental health real quick, I have some charts right here. You can see I got this source right down here. My camera would probably be over it though, so I don't know if you can see that. It really doesn't matter. This is a school project anyways. It's high school sociology too, if you need to know. Percent of UK teens depressed as a function of hours per weekday on social media. So I know it's just the UK, which is a very small portion of the world that nobody cares. Well, let me bite my tongue there. Anyways, UK is pretty cool. I think some of the apologists I actually watch live in UK. Anyways, so you can see there's a clear correlation with hours weekday spent, and then the amount of depression here, I guess. I don't know what scoring they're going by, but it kind of lowers right here just for the guys at 2 hours, and then girls is through the roof because girls are a lot more emotional and stuff. I get that, but boys, especially with the loneliness and stuff, girls are a lot more social than guys. Which is one of the reasons why they're more emotional. Well, it's because they're more emotional. And then boys, that kind of just sucks. So the representation of that. And then also social media addiction. It's definitely made, especially Snapchat, things like Facebook, to send you notifications if you haven't been on for a while. And this just shows, how many people say somewhat and completely that they're addicted. Completely addicted, all through the brown, and then the orange is like somewhat. It's funny how it's only somewhat addicted and completely addicted, and then nobody is like, well, no, I'm just not addicted at all. So that's kind of unfortunate, but I don't really know with the data how this is going. Moving on to a positive, you can access so much information, like literally anything on the internet, and it's incredible. I looked up on ChatGPT right here. I know it's not the most credible, but again, it's a high school sociology 2 project. Anyways, how many libraries of books could the internet fill? I looked it up. I guess over 120 zettabytes of data. I'm not going to try to pronounce that number, I should say. That's insane. So an average book size is 1 megabyte of text. So then I'll go down here. 4.8 quintillion books, apparently. So fill the Library of Congress over 190 billion times. That's insane. Only everybody else before the internet could dream of getting that much information in their hands. That's actually insane. 4.8 quintillion books and could fill the Library of Congress over 190 billion times. Now, if I don't know what data is going off of, if that's just the same text copied over and over or not. But that is insane. You could honestly go to college like how many times over and get how many degrees by just researching on the internet, not taking classes even. Granted, you wouldn't be as good as probably a student in whatever field you want to go into, but you know the same things at least, and maybe not how to apply them as easily. Getting a teacher and all that. You could get research files and information across the world. You could figure out statistics like I just did. This is all an example of what this is saying. So I think that's pretty insane and really good. And the last thing I want to end on, because I don't want this video to be too long, but I also want it to be lighthearted. I'm going to regret this, but a massive negative is brain rot. I think this is just so horrible on our generation in general, but also especially Gen Alpha coming up. I'm part of Gen Z, and my generation sucks, enough as it is. our Tide Pod challenges and different things of that sort and stupid nature. But especially with this, like, stop it. We need to stop. Honestly. Give the kids some purpose and meaning. That's what my channel's about. It's the gospel. And, like apologetics and all that. And that's what makes it weird, because this is really going to be a channel that I'm trying to get off the ground. But this is, like I said, a school project, again, for the 15th time. But, I'm telling you, this stuff, it lowers IQ. It lowers IQ in our kids. The kids in China, for example, in Japan, they're going to be dogging on us in the future. They're going to be like, we're going to be, here's all the other people who don't have brain rot, and then here's us. We're going to be screwed. So, we need to get it under control. And that's literally it that I have for all the notes I have for the video. So, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully I did a good job, Mr. Martini and Mr. Kid. Alrighty. Well, see ya. Thanks for watching.